welcome to the Paranormal Sideshow. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacy.
Hello.
And very creepy wife, Stacy. And we've decided to not go anywhere.
Nope.
Ever again, for any reason whatsoever. And if we do that, and we take this vow of boredom, maybe weird things won't happen to us.
Oh, I doubt that.
See, we had a little excursion planned. Little scourgy-er. And we were going down the road, and we were going to go to the Forge of Pigeons, and we were going to embark on this little Alcatraz East, if you will. And when we were going there, it had some cursed items in it, right? It had some like really cool little items. You can look it up yourself. But I mean, we were going to sneak some equipment in.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't say that.
That was the plan.
But we had the equipment with us.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody must have known that. Maybe, maybe Mr. Gacy knew that. I don't know. But we were taking some equipment in, and we got there, and what happened? Big storm. Big, giant thunder boomer. People running for cover everywhere because it can't be a normal storm. No, it's got to be a bird-killing storm. One of those storms is beautiful day, and then boom, birds die. Is that kind of thing. But that's okay because we come home, everything's going good, right? Everything's fine, everything's dandy, man. Dandy, man. We wake up. I always get up crack early every day. Like, you have to take crack to want to get up as early as I do. I even get up earlier than I have to because I'm that kind of hashtag Bruce Wayne job guy. Mm-hmm. And when I got up the other day, Ariana, our daughter, she got up as well. And everything was good until she asked her mother, "Mother, did you turn on my lights?" So her lights that she's talking about takes remote control. They're LED. They're track lights, little fun things for the kiddies.
Oh, like fairy lights.
You can put them around the room, make them bounce, make them go beep, 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 that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Or you could just turn them on, different colors. Kind of cool. Mm-hmm. She couldn't find a remote last night. Well, last night being that night.
Right.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to bed, and it was dark when she went to bed.
Yes, and we know specifically because I asked her, because she went to bed, the lights were off. I said, "Oh, your lights are off. Did you unplug them, or did you find the remote?" And she said, "I found the remote, and I turned them off." So they were absolutely 100% off until she woke up, and no one had been in her room.
And they were
on.
It's these little things. It's these little tiny things. You know, you don't even know that I heard carnival music a while ago.
Did you?
Circus music.
That's very strange.
It's very fitting for us, but it was circus music. And I heard it in the bathroom. Now, several things you never know you're going to hear in the bathroom. We've heard quite a few things in the bathroom.
Probably several things you don't want to hear in the bathroom. But
circus music, well, it's a new one for me. Mm-hmm. I thought the monkeypox were coming through the window. Thought I was in trouble. But yeah, and on top of all that, when I do sleep, I'll tell you folks, I don't know what's going on. This is all real too. I wish I was just making this crap up. So my dreams have been getting really dreamy. Been getting weird. Very weird. So I've been practicing trying different hurts when I go to sleep. Different, like the Gregorian chants and all this stuff, and open up your chakras and play this weird, satanic panic music as you sleep, like this piano stuff. Because we all love a good penis when we sleep, and pianist when we sleep. Anyway, so been playing that stuff, and so I've been having these weird dreams. All right, and I started having to write some of them down because they're just weird. super weird, crazy weird. Tears for Weirds. It was really, really strange stuff. I had this dream, and I've always dreamt of this building, and it's always been the same building. Decades I've dreamed of this building, and this building has many rooms. Some are okay, some are nice, some are locked, some are just weird, and I could smell it and all this stuff. It was kind of like that building, but it wasn't that building. I feel like it's Monty Python now. It's not this man. Our story is this man. So it's kind of like that because it was just a weird building. But so I'm in this building, and there's dead people everywhere. But I mean, shoot dead, graveyard dead, laying cadavers. They were stuffed in holes. They were stuffed in, like, I don't know. You know, you go to buy like a bookcase, right? And the bookcase has the little cubby holes. They had like little cubby holes, and you see feet, right? And shoes on the feet and stuff. And everybody was there had died of, well, either their own hand or their own mischief, stupidity, stuff like that. There was someone I knew dead in a bathtub from an overdose. Pretty weird stuff, but I mean, I have to tell you. And I was able to talk to these people. They weren't able to get up and stuff, but I could talk to them, and their little eyes would roll over and look at me, and I could talk to them.
That's just creepy. And
there was these things guarding the place, walking around. They didn't care if I was there or not. It was like I was a gnat, and they could care less. I couldn't do anything to them if I wanted to. They were walking around. This place that I dreamt of would make the people who made Silent Hill wet the bed. And I wasn't scared at all. Seriously, I wasn't. But there was a lot of weird imagery in it and stuff. But I was able to take somebody from this dream that wanted to do it all again to the 70s. And we weren't us, but we did this stuff in the 70s. And it's weird because I know I'm dreaming when I dream, and I can, if I get in a fight, I can imagine a chain on my hand and it appears, and it's kind of a cheat code, if you will. But those kind of dreams are really weird, man. And then if that hadn't been strange enough, last night I dream of being in an alternate timeline. It's me, it's Stace, but we both made a different decision at a different time period. And it's modern day, but as if it had not went certain ways, that we had zigged when we were supposed to zag or whatever. And it was like I was living in that time period, but we got brought together again because of fate. And weirdly enough, because of the paranormal.
Isn't that always the way?
So it got me thinking about this all day. How cool is it that the thing that put us together in an alternate timeline also brought us together because we got together. Mm-hmm. Just so you know.
I was there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But, so that's what's going on with us. What about you? Huh? Tell me about your 3.5 and your picket fence and all your stuff that I envy, because we live in a weird, like, suspended nightmare of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Everything's crazy.
It's all right. I don't know. I like it. I guess it's always John and Stacey versus the unknown. A segue. So if you haven't caught the first episode of John and Stacey versus the unknown, well, what are you doing with your life? There's a lot more coming. All right, so you're going to have episode 2 and episode 3 this week, and I'm pretty excited about that because it's us kind of riffing over some videos and whatever we find on the internet that needs riffing. So we're Ken Rippey Jr. We are hitting them out of the park and love it. It's our Patreon little special that we do weekly, and we do more than that in a week if we feel like it. Never less than that. That's the kind of deal. So we're excited to have the constant, consistent Patreonic content That's what it says in the Webster when you look it up. Or the Funkin' Wagnalls. They still make a Funkin' Wagnalls?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
It had a much better name, didn't it? I bet Webster bought it out.
Probably.
You know they did.
Yeah. They're
Funkin' Wagnall.
That's too...
Brought to you by the fun people at Webster.
That's too catchy. We have to...
Maybe Jeeves bought them out. Remember Ask Jeeves?
That's not even a thing anymore, is it?
No, I don't think so. We should look it up, though. Did you ever ask Jeeves anything?
Of course. Yeah. Didn't everybody?
I mean, come on. It was Jeeves. Mm-hmm. Would that be the name of your monkey? If you'd let me have a monkey finally.
Yes.
I bet we could get a monkey at a good price now.
I don't want a monkey. Not right now.
I don't think they actually have the pox.
No, I don't think so. But I still don't want a monkey. I have a cat. And I don't think monkeys and cats get along well. Not our cat.
Well, the monkey could ride the cat.
Probably. The cat's huge.
I mean,
depends what kind of monkey you got.
Well, we're not getting a spider monkey.
If you get an orangutan, no.
But, so, listen, patreon.com/paranormal sideshow. That's patreon.com/paranormal sideshow. If you order now, you get another just like it. Patreon.com/paranormal sideshow. If you order in the next 5 minutes, our operators are standing by to give you exactly the same thing you would have got 5 minutes earlier. Patreon.com/paranormal sideshow.
You don't get to talk to our operators because it's a website, but they're standing by it. I swear.
They really are. It was an outreach program. They're like, we need these people to get off fentanyl. It's okay. We'll have them stand by. They won't know why they're standing by, but they're going to want to do a good job, and they're going to stand there until something happens.
There you go.
How's it going in there? Anything? All right. Oh, that'll pass. The air is on. All right. It's all good.
All good.
It's all good. So something else that was all good. Mm-hmm. We watched a little YouTubeage of a Scooby-Doo kind of show, Mystery Incorporated. And they tried putting it out in 2020, and everybody saw the trailer on Facebook, and it was like, oh, hey, there's a mystery, and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And I kind of forgot about it. It came back. I guess they had their own little, GoFundMe gimmick.
Right.
And whatever it is for them. Mm-hmm. I forget what the gimmick was on that. And that kind of sucks because I was going to try to give them money.
I think it's Indiegogo.
It is Indiegogo. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Indiegogo campaign. I bet that we pop up something about that because it's a really cool idea.
It is.
We have nothing to do with it, but you need to watch it. Go out of your way to watch it. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah. Episode 1 is out. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and they're trying to fund episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're trying to fund all these. So, and it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's worth it. And they've already got like a lot of funding. They'll be able to do episode 2 for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's one of the, if you watch us, you watch Scooby-Doo, right? Right. So, hey. I got a list.
Oh, do you?
I do.
A list.
A list.
Cool.
Well.
What's it a list of?
It's a list of unintentionally creepy places.
Unintentionally creepy. Okay.
Like your ex that just shows up on Facebook unexpected.
That is unintentionally creepy.
Yeah, it is. So unintentionally creepy places.
Okay.
So I'm going to start this out with Celebration City in Branson, Missouri.
Okay. Yeah. That doesn't sound creepy at all.
It doesn't sound creepy.
Sounds nice and fun.
And it says on here, what's more worthy of a celebration than getting as far away as possible from the empty Celebration City, which ceased operating in 2008, and its rickety abandoned roller coaster.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look that creepy.
I don't know. It's probably pretty creepy. Well, any kind of abandoned amusement park type scenario.
Thunder Beast Park. Chiloquin, Oregon. I bet I ruined that name.
That's okay.
Chiloquin. I probably had
He's going to do every single inflection just to make sure you get it.
Chiloquin. It's Oregon. It's Chiloquin.
Okay.
Hey, man, let's call it Chiloquin. So Thunder Beast Park lies abandoned along Oregon's US 97. So I was going to DJ mode. Along US 97. Established in 1962, the sign of the gate still reads, Portal to the Past, which is true in more ways than one. And this is the only thing I found. Little foot there, so
Creepy.
it's like an elephant. So this one is creepy to me.
Okay.
Enchanted Forest in Hope Valley, Rhode Island.
Oh, that sounds creepy.
Do you ever go there?
No.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Fairy tales are sort of a big deal when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a focus of Rhode Island's Enchanted Forest, which operated from 1971 to 2005. The only remnants of the park are the parking lot, miniature golf course, bumper car course, and 2 structures, one of which is right here.
Wow.
Nice little castle.
Mm.
It's an abandoned castle. It's not really a castle. It's creepy, though.
It is very creepy.
I think anywhere that kids had good dreams and they died a horrible death, it's probably creepy.
Yes.
Including the next one, which should be at the top of my list because it literally scared the piss out of me at one point in time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The Land of Oz.
Yeah.
Beach Mountain, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call it hell. The privately owned theme park was in full operation from 1970 to the 1980s. On the 80th anniversary of the 1939 movie, The Yellow Brick Road opened once again. The park offered interactive tours with Dorothy beginning June 2019. The park currently opens on select weekends for special events such as Journey with Dorothy to Hell.
So is it open now?
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally?
Well, like not right this second, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd ever bring that place back. They talked about it for a long time.
No.
We're not going?
No.
Okay.
They had a wicked witch in a cage that reached out and cackled. I was just a little kid.
Did it scar you?
It was too much.
It scarred you for life.
It was too much. She was too into it.
Right.
No.
She earned her dollar.
You know what I don't remember?
What?
Glinda. Could have had a good witch.
Right. But, that
You know what I
doesn't
was
sell
worried about?
tickets. The house?
Flying monkeys.
Oh, flying monkeys.
Care about
of
the
course.
damn house?
I don't know. You were looking in the sky.
Flying monkeys.
Yes, flying monkeys.
The worst thing ever in cinema. And you think it's all fun and games until you find out about the damn book. The book.
The books, yeah.
Soft porn of horror. Terrible stuff. It's like when I read The Babies, a book the other night that I loved as a kid and I didn't remember how horrible it was. Rumpelstiltskin. Have you read it lately? Don't. There's no redeeming character in the whole book. The king's like, yeah, spend me that gold or I'm going to kill you. Rumpelstiltskin's like, yo, give me your baby. And I'll tell you, I'll get you the gold. I got the hookup. It's just wrong. Whole thing's wrong. I'd like to thank the fine folks at Ranker for this list. Not really, but I just figured I should say it. I'm not picking every one of them. But they didn't intend this list to be what I intended it to be.
Oh, I see.
So it's
You're making it its own thing.
Well, it's unintentionally creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
It is.
So Arizona's got one.
Okay. What is it called?
Yeah. So it's I don't know if I want to tell you the name.
Oh. Well, it's going to be hard to tell me about the
It's
creepy
Stewart's
place.
Petrified Wood.
Oh, that sounds very creepy. Just the name's creepy.
That's it.
Yeah. You don't have to describe
A bunch
it.
of concrete dinosaurs in Arizona. It's called Stewart's Petrified Wood.
What? That's a strange name for a bunch of dinosaurs.
It's a strange name for
For anything.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going on. Just going to move on. So then we get to Warwick, Rhode Island, which has one of the coolest names of any town in the world. I always think of witches. I think of witches anyway, all the time.
Warwick makes you think of witches?
I don't know. Sure. Rocky Point Amusement Park.
Oh. Rocky Point. I have seen that place, I think.
Oh, okay. I don't know why it makes me think of witches. In operation from the 1840s to 1996, Rocky Point Amusement Park was an extremely popular destination for Rhode Island families and tourists, gorged with chowder-seeking roller coaster and carousel rides. In 2014, Rocky Point Park became a state park. Visitors could see remains of the former amusement park, scattered signs, and demolished ruins.
Wow.
Sounds a lot of fun, don't it?
It does.
Unintentionally creepy. Miracle Strip Amusement Park, Panama City Beach, Florida.
Ah.
It would take more than a miracle to not be abysmally freaked out by the vacant premises of Panama Beach, Florida's once resplendent Miracle Strip Park. Opened in 1963 and shut down in 2004. Some efforts were made to restore the park, and then they gave up, so nah.
This is too unintentionally creepy. We're going to stop.
One of my favorite.
Okay.
Heritage USA, Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Ooh.
If you ever grew up with a couple of really dumb grandparents who gave all their money to TV preachers, you can appreciate this. The blatant irony of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker's 2,300-acre Christian-themed amusement park, Heritage USA, resembling the remains of a post-apocalyptic nightmare, shouldn't be underestimated. At one point, Heritage USA was the third most successful tourist trap in America. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Now dilapidated and ghostly, sun-bleached and cracked. The remnants of the King's Castle are nothing but a foregone memory.
Wow. It's funny how many unintentionally creepy places are amusement park related.
Yeah.
They are pretty creepy, though.
Speaking of, Six Flags, New Orleans. So, after devastation of Hurricane Katrina, Six Flags, New Orleans, otherwise known as Jazzland, was declared a total loss and was left a devastated ghost town. They still haven't demolished it.
Wow.
You know, if you would just demolish some of these places.
Yeah, really. Just mow them down, get rid of all the creepy stuff.
Yeah. Unintentionally creepy. So this one, President's Park, Williamsburg, Virginia. Ever been there?
I don't know. Maybe.
White. Oh my God. 43 old guys, most of whom are dead. Super scary no matter what. So this place was probably eerie when it was fully functioning family attraction. Now it's added a fright factor of being abandoned.
Wow.
Built in 2004 and closed in 2010. So no, you haven't been there.
I have not been there.
The 18 to 20 foot patriotic bust. I know a few of those.
Wow.
Leading up to George W. were moved to a 400-acre local farm and are now sitting dormant. And apparently
so it was
staring
just
at
a
one
bunch
another.
of ridiculously tall statues of all the presidents.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't imagine why that went bust.
No. Unintentionally creepy. Unintentionally corny, maybe. The mouse made the list.
The mouse?
Disney's River Country. Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Totally abandoned, decrepit Disney theme park properties out there that you didn't know about? Yeah. Completely with creepy backstories, too. Disney's River Country was a water park with an aesthetic that harkened back to the good old days of Mark Twain. Opened in 1976, tragedy struck in 1980. However, when an 11-year-old boy was killed as a result of swimming in the fresh water of the park, the boy died of a rare infection. Meningocephalitis.
Oh my gosh, that's like a brain-eating thing, isn't it? Something like that?
Which attacked his brain.
There you go, see? That's definitely doomsday for an amusement park, isn't it?
Still, River Country kept its head above water. No. Until Disney shut its doors after 2001. Reports suggest the park might reopen as a new nature-inspired Disney resort, set to reopen later this year.
Wow. Don't go in the water.
Who lets their damn kid go in the water anyway?
Yeah, at a amusement park. I mean, it wasn't meant to swim in, right?
Chippewa Lake Park, Medina County, Ohio. Probably the oldest and most history-rich attraction on the list, Chippewa State Lake Park was established in 1878. A favorite of roller coaster aficionados, but now the land where the park once stood has been completely reclaimed by Mother Nature.
Oh, that's what makes it creepy when you have all the things and all the
Or you
plants
have-
are crawling over.
Or you have Santa Claus. Christmas Tree Inn, Santa Claus, Arizona. It's a historic and ramshackle-looking thing, but so is the entire village of Santa Claus, Arizona. Established in 1937, closed down in the 1990s, this ghost town gives a whole new meaning to the ghost of Christmas past.
So there's actually a ghost town named Santa Claus, Arizona? That's crazy.
It's bonkers. Joyland Amusement Park, Wichita, Kansas. That nothing about this looks like joy. Although the Wacky Shack was probably a huge attraction in its heyday, now it just looks like a place where one is liable to get whacked by some axe-wielding psycho. I wonder if the petrified wood gets whacked. Wichita's Joyland Amusement Park was in operation from 1949 to 2006. In 2018, the park's iconic Wacky Shack once featured strobe lights.
It's a Wacky Shack.
And jump scares. Caught on fire. Later in 2018, the site was purchased by an auction agency and an anonymous buyer for $198,000.
I hope they hired a marketing manager too, or somebody to name their whatever they're building.
Maybe they could have named it Splendid China.
Oh, wow.
Splendid China from Kissimmee, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Built over 70 acres as a replica of the country. A really small replica of the country.
Yeah.
It's a big-ass country. Splendid China was an experiment in creating a completely different kind of theme park. Man.
I mean, what happens when you go there?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the Hanna-Barbera looking creations that was in that place?
Wow. I cannot imagine.
I don't even know if I want to keep going with this. Opened from 1993 to 2003, it was funded by an agency of the Chinese government.
Wow.
It sparked controversy of locals fearing it was an act of communist propaganda. Many of the Chinese performers who worked there defected and sought asylum in the United States, and when the park closed, vandals took over and stole everything that wasn't nailed down, included the Chinaman.
So China's like, we have this great idea. Let's open this amusement park and turn everyone to communism. And all the Chinese are, yes, I'll go and teach everyone about communism. And as soon as they all get over here, they're like, help us. And they run away. Wow. Interesting.
Williams Grove Amusement Park in Mechanicsburg, PA.
Okay.
Williams Grove Amusement Park was pretty cool before it became creepy. Aren't they all?
Mm-hmm.
An abandoned ruin that it is today. A classic old amusement park. Families first came to the site for picnics in 1850. When the first rides opening in 1928. Long time between picnics and rides.
Wow.
The park almost completely destroyed during Hurricane Agnes. In 1972. You know, damn. Hurricane Agnes must have really been hardcore to come up in PA and destroy things.
Right. That's a long way for a hurricane.
Don't usually hear that, do you?
No.
So it closed for good in 2005, and it's sat there ever since. I mean, because it's not ran off.
Right.
Ranker. Thank you. Jungle Land Zoo. Kissimmee, Florida.
Okay.
I've been to this one.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
An escaped lion, excess monkey dung, and balding swine eventually led to the downfall of Jungle Land Zoo in Florida, which began as Alligator Land Safari Zoo in the 1970s. The rows and rows of empty cages, which once housed over 1,600 species of birds, reptiles, and animals, have been derelict since 2002.
Wow.
I went there. Yep.
Was there an excess of monkey dung when you went there?
There was an excess of alligators that I didn't want anything to do with, that didn't look particularly fed.
No.
And people walking around with snakes going, "Don't you want to put a range in that, kid? Come on, put the snake range in that, kid."
Nope.
Early thoughts of murder.
Mm-hmm.
Prehistoric Forest Amusement Park in Irish Hills, Michigan. Modern ruins are creepy, and even more so when they're littered with fiberglass carcasses of forgotten dinosaurs. This theme park in Irish Hills, Michigan opened up in 1963 to great fanfare, but was closed and abandoned in 1999. You know, probably when the dinosaurs weren't correct anymore. I think that's what this all, like, a lot of these go in together, don't they?
Right.
The kids are like, that's not what that's called. They don't look like that. That has feathers. Does it? Anyway, number 2, because I didn't number them. I like to surprise you.
We're going up or down?
I like to surprise you. Well, apparently we're going
down. I think we started with 1, so I don't know.
I didn't say 1.
All right. Anyway, number 2.
Number 2. Holy Land, USA.
Ooh, Holy Land.
Yeah. In Waterbury, Connecticut.
I wonder what that's all about.
Probably something that makes you scratch your nose when I say holy, holy, holy.
You gonna throw holy water at me next?
Not on camera. I gotta protect you. For all its purported holiness, the creepy and desolate and neglected Holy Land, USA seems to be on par with that of hell. Closed to the public since 1984, the 18-acre religious theme park has long been rumored as haunted. But the 2010 rape and murder of a young girl sealed its legacy. What? I mean, why even? Okay. Sorry about that. I wasn't expecting. Okay. Number 1. Hey.
Moving on.
Blind monkeys.
What? That's not really number 1.
Lake Shawnee amusement park in Rock, West Virginia. Seems like it should be some kind of rock, don't it? It's just Rock, West Virginia. It's the original one. What should we call it, Mama? Well, it's a rock. Big old rock, too. We'll just call it Rock. They can have Little Rock and West Rock and Eagle Rock. We'll just have Rock. What does one do with a plot of land that has a dual history of being both the scene of a pioneer massacre and a burial ground?
Oh my gosh.
Build an amusement park.
Of course.
In West Virginia.
How do you get haunted amusement parks?
Chalk this one up as one of the worst ideas ever. And, or one of the ideas of West Virginia. In 1966, after 2 children were killed on its rides, Lake Shawnee Amusement Park closed forever, becoming a playground for no one but the ghost.
Wow.
And that one does look creepy. So yeah, unintentionally creepy places. Because all these places are supposed to be love, joy, happiness, and haha.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe they were at one time for a little while, but definitely not now.
And they'd all have a theme park to them.
That's definitely, I think, what happens.
That's where all theme parks go to die.
Yeah.
Somebody's damn nightmares. Mm-hmm. Isn't it crazy how it's a lot of things that are supposed to bring you joy?
Yes.
Like clowns and,
It's a lot of theme parks that don't get torn down, too. Was it just a lot of trouble or something?
Probably.
I mean, is it a lot of trouble?
All that steel and
I guess.
hidden bodies.
I think they could do other things with those pieces of property that are less creepy.
Well, they probably have sentimental value to somebody, and they're like, oh, don't tear it down. And there's stupid people that don't want you to tear it down.
It's an antique giant Ferris wheel. I want to keep it.
Down with progress. Those people.
Right.
We don't need jobs. We want to stare at that dilapidated swing. That's where I got my butt popped. Stuff like that. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, anyway, speaking of butt popping, we have some of the best news, some of the greatest news in the history of our news. It's not clickbait. It's seriously not. Our top story today is one of my favorite that we've had because it's freaking cool and I hella talk about it all the time. Here's Stacey Edwards with some paranormal news.
All right, let's get to the news.
Okay,
first story. This is your favorite one. It's about some ancient ruins of 11 lost settlements have been discovered beneath the Amazon jungle.
I feel like I just won the contest. I feel like that I got door number 1,
right,
2, and 3 because I guessed correctly.
Well, this was reported in the journal Nature, and it says that scientists examined 6 areas within a 4,500 square kilometer region in the Bolivian Amazon using helicopter-mounted LiDAR imaging technology. Love the LiDAR. And they discovered 2 new large settlement sites. Now, Oh, and 24 smaller sites. Now, out of those 24 smaller sites, only 15 of those were previously known to exist. So they found brand new ones. And that says that the settlements weren't merely just a scattering of like a few houses here and a few huts over here. It says that it seems that some were once bustling communities with their own ceremonial architecture and complex water management infrastructure composed of canals and reservoirs. And it said they even discovered vast platform mounds and cone-shaped pyramids measuring up to 22 meters tall. Now, their study indicates that the settlements date from approximately 500 to 1400, which they're saying is when this particular part of the Amazon was home to a Kasarabi culture. But I think they're just guessing at that. I mean, they've only seen this on LiDAR. It's not like they've been down there digging up, artifacts and things like that. But, it was once assumed that there was nothing there. I mean, it's the Amazon. So it was assumed that it was too wild.
The most inhospitable place on the entire planet.
Exactly. And of course, like we said, a lot of these discoveries have been made because of LiDAR. And that's how they have been finding things in a lot of different places. And one of the reasons why this is such a you love this story so much is because of, we've listened to Graham Hancock talk. And in that book he has, America Before, he talks about this kind of thing. And he even did an interview with Joe Rogan. And if you watch the interview, there's this one part, it's really interesting because stuff that I didn't know before, like the Amazon rainforest, the whole Amazon basin is like 7 million square kilometers. And out of that 7 million square kilometers, he says that about 5.5 million are unstudied. I mean, that's like the size of India. And so that's all this area where they have no idea. And he even mentions this explorer, this, I think, Spanish or European explorer, what's his name, Francisco Orellana, something like that. I don't know the exact name. But like in the 1500s, he was sailing down through there and saw all kinds of civilizations, big, bustling, thriving, very advanced civilizations and reported it. Well, nobody else went back for like 100 years later. And by the time anybody else went back down there, people had already been...
They killed them all by then.
Yeah, the smallpox. They brought smallpox there. The people weren't ready for it. Decimated them. Everything had grown over. It's the Amazon rainforest. Of course, it grows up very quickly. And so they all thought that he was lying. Oh, no, he was lying. He didn't really see any of that. So now, we know that obviously was true. There really were tons. I mean, I think it was estimated 20 million people could have lived in that area.
There's a whole lot of stuff that comes from the Amazon.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of things that don't make sense. Mm-hmm. That's where the whole mystery of it comes from. And if you haven't read Graham's book, America Before, we actually have the hardcover with the extra stuff in it. Mm-hmm. And we have it on book on tape, all that good stuff, because it's so fantastic. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those stories that grabbed us early because it was cool, man. It's just got a lot of that, everybody's intrigued about the Amazon from the time you're a little explorer all the way up to the time that you're like, I don't need to go there. It's just, we'll let somebody else go there. But cities of gold and the hidden monkey city and all this, all this crazy stuff, right? And then you hear about like ayahuasca and how they knew to do the exact formula. And
right. Then
you find out about how it's not really a place to grow crops. And there was a special kind of soil that's there. It's the only place in the world, and they use it to grow in.
Oh yeah, the man-made soil, and they don't have it. They can't even figure out they made it, and it can take barren soil, and you add it to it, and bam, fertile soil.
Because otherwise, you wouldn't be able to grow anything there, and it just happens to be there. They happen to know how to make this something we cannot replicate. I mean, think about going to places like Mars and things. You're not sure if you're going to be able to grow stuff, and this is what you would be able to grow it. That's real. Mm-hmm. And you have, other than that, the species of trees, right? So all these different trees that are there are mostly from other places, not really native as much as they've been put there like a nursery. Like somebody created this wonderful place or tried to hide other places at some point in time, much like you look at Göbekli Tepe, right? Mm-hmm. That was somebody painstakingly covered all that.
Right.
I mean, that was a lot of work to hide that for something. Maybe for a time that we were smart enough to figure it out, and we happened to dig it up early. But I've been really intrigued about this, and ever since this first happened, we're firm believers in high technology of the past and other civilizations that came way before. And every day that goes by, there's more and more proof of this. And just think back. If you don't pay attention to it, think of some of these things like Neanderthals all of a sudden are smart, right? Neanderthals were always Neanderthal. That's our word for stupid. I mean, come on. Now they're like, well, they did things, and they were all hunter-gatherers except for these corners of the world where they drew elaborate paintings and dreamed of things 40,000 years ago.
And made things just to decorate their caves.
Right. And all of a sudden, farming began at the same time as Göbekli Tepe. So they were hunter-gatherers. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as civilization begins, they're like, we're going to build this thing because we have time to do that because we're hunting and gathering. Mm-hmm. And we're also going to, I don't know, let's just farm.
Right.
Let's just build civilization.
We're tired of walking and moving.
When the pyramids are built, let's start with the best one that no one will ever figure out, and then we'll go down from there.
Right.
Everything is like that. Baalbek, you just go across the Barbar caves. You go through the oldest stuff, and it's the best. Right. So when we were talking about the Amazonians, I was like, oh my God, the Amazon rainforest, what better place to hide stuff? And, just imagine this now, those ruins that are covered, and God bless LiDAR, it has changed the game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All over the world. The reason we're finding all these amazing things is because of LiDAR.
Right.
You still have to go boots on the ground. But because of LiDAR, they just recently found, and this is still a big deal, believe it or not, they just recently found a Viking ship, right? And they were getting ready to put a road in this area. And it's down so deep that they haven't got to it yet. But they were able to get that with LiDAR. And they're pretty sure it was a king of some sort, which when you find things like that, that fills in holes that we don't have.
Right. And
tells you things, puts a light on the dark ages.
Right.
So this is a lot more to come to this. There's so much more to come to this because imagine these ruins, ones that they haven't been to yet, especially little, cone-shaped pyramids. Now, it's not the Great Pyramid. Little worshiping areas or whatever. What kind of treasures are in there?
Oh, yeah. And
forget the gold. I mean, so I'm sure a lot of people are motivated by that. I'm motivated by knowledge. That to me.
Right.
I am the mystery. I'm the Curse of Oak Island through and through.
Some sort of like pictures or hieroglyphics or writings of
when
some
they're on
sort.
there going, well, it's all about the story. Those guys they didn't start like that.
No.
And that's, I think
but they've been sucked in now.
Oh yeah. I think they're more about that. You want to piece together. I mean, I think that every one of us has a hunger to know where we actually came from, what our real story is. It's one of the greatest mysteries in mankind is mankind.
Right.
And I think this is huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Marking it now, this is going to be.
Well, let me give you an example of the LiDAR. And this is an example that Graham gave in that interview. Recently they did some LiDAR in Guatemala. And Guatemala is about 100,000 square kilometers, just 100,000 square kilometers. And when they did the LiDAR scanning, they found Mayan ruins, about 60,000 Mayan ruins in that 100,000 square kilometer. Now imagine what they can find in 5.5 million square kilometers when they've already found this one little section. I mean, this was only 4,500 square kilometers, and they found these two large settlements that housed all these people. I mean, imagine how much more is there and what it is. I mean,
can't wait.
It's crazy.
And crazy. I can't wait to see his reaction.
Oh, I know.
This is fresh. Dude, this is fresh, hot off the press. And if you don't know, Nature magazine, that is like the book of record. That is the that is the New York Times. I hate to say New York Times, but it's the New York Times of scientific discovery. It is the big deal. It doesn't go in Nature magazine unless it's kind of, it's peer reviewed and it's real deal. Mm-hmm. No pseudoscience here. Really cool. Great discovery. Keep your eye on it.
All right, so let's move on.
Let's.
All right, so let's talk about a potentially alive 830 million year old organism that was found trapped in an ancient rock.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So this is a team of geologists. Just like, let me out.
You hear that? Is it that rock?
It could be. How old is that rock?
No. Let's just,
Let's just get rid of that. A team of geologists has just discovered tiny remnants of algae type life trapped inside crystals of halite dating back 830 million years.
Oh,
now halite is like rock salt. Okay. And now scientists have found what they, organisms and things in halite before. However, the way that they used to look for these things was very invasive, and they could never tell if those were things that were there.
And the halite was never the same. Since
it was, formed, or if it was something that was contaminated on it later.
Hello, halite.
So
a little invasive.
There's a place in the middle of Australia. It's called the Brown Formation. And it's
Didn't used to be called that.
It's a well-characterized and dated stratigraphic unit. And it dates back really up 830 million years. And they took some samples from this Brown Formation, and they used a new method, a non-invasive optical method, to look inside it. And when they did, they found little places where there was trapped pockets of water and organisms. Wow. And those organisms can potentially still be alive, just living in their own little bubble of universe in there. Now, the reason they know that they were there when the halite was formed is because their technique is non-invasive, and so there was no way anything could contaminate it.
If that is there, after 830 million years, there has to be life on Mars.
Well, I mean, it says it has implications for Mars. They said that, because you can find deposits that have similar compositions to this specific composition in the Brown Formation, and they can now use this new technique.
So what will they be able to tell from this?
Life
in the atmosphere and everything?
Yeah, if they get in there and study that, it says that they can get information about the water temperature, the water chemistry, and even atmospheric temperature at the time that the mineral formed. Whatever was present there when it formed should still be there.
What they're going to find out soon is that humans have always been and have always been on every continent. That's going to be one of the big discoveries to come.
Just crazy. Just the fact that even though these tiny microscopic organisms have been trapped in there, they're so tiny, that's like their whole world in that little tiny piece of rock salt.
I love that.
I mean, and they could still just be living in there somehow.
You want me to really mess with you?
Sure.
We're little tiny organisms living in rock salt.
Yes, I know. It's blows your mind just to think about it.
Well, yeah, it does. But I mean, more and more tells us that we are. The more that we supposedly find out.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you have the story or not about Hubble, but it's, all the years it's been out there, they have figured out that they have made some miscalculations and don't understand really about the expansion of the universe. And they were pretty sure, well, it's going this fast. It's always going.
Right.
And now they're like, well... after 20 years, some strange calculations. There's been some weird ones. It's not exactly like we thought.
Right.
There are some variances. And when I was reading the article, I'm like, call me wacky.
Okay, wacky.
Fair. But variances doesn't sound very scientific to me.
No.
Not exact science.
Well, I mean, how exact can you be when you're talking about places
Well,
you
they
can't
were
actually
exact last week. Oh, Carl Sagan and his phony baloney stuff used to sound pretty exact.
That's very true. That's very true.
There was a bang. It was big. Everything, you know what I'm talking about. They're always like traveling at blah, 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 blah.
Right,
and
right.
At a parsec galaxy stoof or something. They always have these weird measurements that you're not supposed to be able to figure out. And people act like they know, right?
Right.
Like the pretentious Big Bang Theory people. They're just like sitting around playing their little quiz games. Like, how much fat is in about it? You don't know. Just because you can memorize the answer doesn't mean you understand the meaning. Nobody does.
That's true.
They make up damn words to explain stuff. That's how they got rid of magic. Let's call it science. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, let's move on. And since you were talking about Hubble and all its cool stuff that we don't understand, let's talk about the Voyager.
Oh.
Yes, something strange is happening with Voyager 1.
Well, Voyager's getting old.
Yeah. Now, Voyager 1 is currently located 14.5 billion miles away from Earth. It's very far away. And
it's outside of our purview.
Engineering team.
It's interstellar somewhere else.
Yes. They're trying to solve a puzzle. So the Voyager 1 is still gathering and returning science data, and it's receiving and executing its commands.
And I can't
normally.
get a phone signal between two exits. This thing is out of our freaking solar system.
It's 14.5 billion miles away, and I can't get a cell phone signal at the next exit down. I don't know. All right. So the probe has an altitude articulation and control system. And right now it's not providing an accurate representation of what's going on.
It's got dementia.
The Voyager 1. Now,
you know how many years it is in satellite years?
That's a lot. What the AACS is supposed to do is keep the spacecraft pointed precisely at Earth so that it can transmit the information back. And there's no indication that it's malfunctioning, but all the data, all the telemetry data it's sending back is invalid. For example, it's like it's random or it's not indicative of any state that it could possibly be in.
Yeah.
So everything it's sending back, they have no idea why, but otherwise it's functioning completely
normally. I know why.
Why?
Because it's in it truly is in unknown territory. Mm-hmm. Okay, it truly is out of our range.
Right.
It's it left our little home. Mm-hmm. And that was a big deal when it did.
Right.
And I think whatever space that it's in right now is kooky. Like it's just kooky space. And they've theorized about this stuff before.
Right.
That there's places where it's the same laws may not apply.
Right.
And I think it's really cool, but I think it's probably in one of those kooky places.
Well, they do say that, it's in a high radiation environment, which is somewhere none of our spacecraft has ever been before, like you said. And it's also almost 45 years old, which is far past what they even thought it would do. But it's just weird because it doesn't show that it's in any kind of safe mode, and the signal hasn't weakened, which means it's still pointed where it should be pointed.
Radiation's keeping it charged up.
It's just that it's, having this issue where it's sending back this weird data. So I don't know. Just for the record, it only takes the messages 20 hours and 33 minutes to travel all that way to Earth. 20 hours to come 14.5 billion miles. Again, can't get a cell phone signal down the street.
That doesn't seem right, does it?
I know, but it says that's how long light takes. So that's how long it takes.
Was it
the messages?
Flash signals?
I'm not sure how it sends it, but that's
I
how
figured it'd be radio signals.
It says it takes around 2 days for a message to reach the Voyager 1, a little bit slower than the light.
Well, anyway,
so
it's cool.
But very cool, interesting little mystery. Then they're like, oh yeah, we expect it to have some kind of problem about this time.
Well, they expected to have a problem a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
They're sure they can figure it out. I don't
I'm
know.
sure.
But very interesting.
I can't wait till we get ones out there that actually have, really good photography and whatnot. And those first ones were great, but still yet, it's when we can actually get pictures back from, way, way, way out, it'll be awesome. Really good pictures.
Yes.
Not radio pictures.
All right, well, let's move on and talk about a rare book that was published in 1698 that predicted alien life. Isn't that crazy?
When was it published?
1698.
And predicted alien life.
Yes, so it's a rare book that, like they said, predicted alien life. It's getting ready to go to auction.
I know another one that did way before that. It's called the Old Testament.
It was published in 1698, and it was found at a free antique valuation event in Morton in Marsh, Gloucestershire, by a book valuer named Jim Spencer.
A book valuer?
A book valuer, yeah, because it was one of those places where you bring your things.
Oh, not somebody who just loves books.
No, he's an antique value. It was an antique valuation event. Oh, I value these books so much. Anyway, the author's name is Christian Hudgens. And in
Christopher Pudgens.
Christian
I've got a friend named
Hudgens.
Oh.
And it's called The Celestial World Discovered, or Conjectures Concerning the Inhabitants, Plants, and Productions of the Worlds in the Planets. That's it. That's the end of it. That's a long title. I didn't think it was over.
That's my favorite stuff, though, the or. Mm-hmm. You know that.
I love how they give it a name and then say or.
That's why so many of our episodes are done like that.
That's true. The author questions why God would have created other planets just to be looked at from Earth. What would be the point of that, he ponders.
So when did they kill the author for heresy?
He concludes that aliens must have hands and feet like humans because of their convenience.
Masturbation. That's why I think you would eventually grow hands.
And he also suggests that celestial beings, quote, celestial beings, must have feet unless they have found out the art of flying in some of the other worlds. So it seems like a really interesting book. I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Why would you not need feet if you could fly?
That's what he's saying. He said they must have feet unless they found a way to fly.
No, I know. But
why would you not need feet even if you could fly? Is that what you mean? I don't know.
I mean, unless you have like a kickstand.
I mean, unless you just fly all the time.
I mean, birds have
feet,
right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
I mean, you don't want to land on your bottom all the time.
This is true. The writer also believed aliens enjoyed astronomy and observation, sailed boats, and listened to music, but also suffered misfortunes like wars and afflictions and poverty.
Marriage.
Because that's what leads us to invention and progress.
Yeah.
So the book's considered such a rare find that it will have a starting price of around £2,000 to £3,000 when it goes to auction. It's going to be auctioned off in July.
It's worth buying.
Yeah, it's
that one really is
cool. And
so, Nick Redfern.
Yeah.
Nick Redfern. Somebody get news to Nick Redfern. Have you ever seen his UFO book collection?
Oh, yeah.
He's always unbelievable. And it's all like first editions and stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, not like pristine, like something found. He makes great finds. Right. And I'm envious of it. I love the old UFO magazines. I love the old UFO books. I love them. Because one of my favorite eras of everything is the 50s.
So, anyway, cool book. Listed for sale on July 5th in Hanson's Library Auction at Bishton Hall in
Poor
Staffordshire.
People watching it on Paranormal TV have no idea right now. They're like, what?
Oh, we'll edit that. Only the audio listeners will get the extended extra stuff version. And if you are the audio listening, go back to last week's episode and see if you can hear the funky laugh in there. It's very weird.
The extended extra stuffed version?
Sure. All right, so let's move on. Let's do an update.
Oh.
Okay, so do you remember we did a story a couple of years ago about the treasure hunters looking for the Nazi gold, and they had the journal that told of all the locations, and it was supposedly written by the Nazi in code. And
of course, I remember.
I think
that.
I have like the original.
It's like
article here.
One of my favorite things. I mean, what what boy doesn't want to hunt Nazi gold like Indiana Jones?
Right. Okay, so just to refresh your memory about the original story, this was from June 2020, and it was this journal that was written like 75 years ago by an SS officer using a pseudonym name, and it outlined all of Heinrich Himmler's plans to hide stolen European riches and artifacts, works of art, and things like that. And the diary listed 11 sites where Nazis concealed looted gold, jewels, priceless paintings, religious objects, and all of that. And so they found one, like this group that has the diary. Now it was given to this group, and it's supposed to be like, oh, here, we're sorry for everything that happened, so take this diary. And this Polish foundation named Silesian Bridge. And they went and found this one of the locations that supposedly had the loot. So that's where we were at in 2020. So this new article came out that said that they discovered a 5-foot metal canister buried at a Polish conservatory where they believe they stashed a 4-ton haul. Now, it's
4-ton?
Yeah, a 4-ton haul. Now, this discovery was just made using a geo-radar search of the abandoned conservatory. It's an 18th century palace in the village of Minkowski. And we talked about this before. This was, whenever we did the original story, we talked about this being one of the locations that was mentioned. And supposedly this was that place where they buried it and then they killed a bunch of people and dumped them in the hole with it, so nobody could tell. Yeah. So they've done this geo-radar search, and they found what they believe is a very large canister that's been buried. But they haven't been able to bring it up yet because they have to wait for a permit to be able to, bring it up out of the ground. But they feel like they are very close to finding.
I think Nazi treasure should be
gold.
like finder keepers rules.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Don't you think?
I think like genocide should qualify. It's like, if you ever committed, I don't know, genocide, then we don't wait for permits.
Well, what they're
My crew wouldn't. My crew would have been, we didn't find a damn thing, sir.
Right.
Wearing all this bling. Where'd you get that double-crested eagle at? It's a family heirloom. Aren't you Jewish? Goes back a long way.
It's had a complicated family.
Unbelievable how many symbols are not, didn't start out the way they ended. I would be quoting the Da Vinci Code.
Right. Well, they have to wait for permission, of course, to raise the canister, but they also have to get permission from Army people that say that the hiding place could be booby-trapped. Like, they have to send people in to make sure
have to say booby.
There's not, traps down there. And it said the process could take months. But what they're going to do in the meantime...
Yeah, it's going to take months while the Army go down there and look.
Yeah. Well, this foundation...
Make sure it's safe. Johnson, take a look. Check it.
Here, take this big bag with you.
Sir, I thought you just wanted me to stuff everything in this bag. No, the booby traps, Johnson. But that's not what you said, sir. Johnson. But this. There was a booby trap. It was really crazy. It was a gun, like
Still works.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, the Silesian Foundation claim that they're not looking for treasure for their own personal gain. They want to give people back their items. Like, if they can figure out who the artworks belong to, or who, like, whatever was stolen, who it belonged to, they want to send those back.
How many of those people are alive?
Well, their families.
Oh.
I'm sure they all have, I don't know. That's just what they said. Like, they want...
Is your mother home?
To go.
Mom!
They want it to go, back to where it needs to belong. But in the meantime, while they're waiting for the permission to raise this, since there was 11 sites, they're going to spend the time checking out the other 10 sites, maybe do a little digging and geo-radar in the other sites to see if they find anything else. So this one, I think, these people are closer than anybody's ever been. I mean, we've had a lot of stories about people thinking they found Nazi gold and it not being anything. So.
Yeah. They keep finding amber rooms all over the place.
Do you think they're going to find the amber room eventually?
I hope this is the amber room.
It'd be cool. It's a big enough place for it. There's lots of caverns and stuff.
It weighs enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
I really want the amber room. to be found.
I mean, they have a replica, but it's just not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
It's not the original Amber.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's talk about the famous alien mom signal. Oh, no, wait. Wow.
Wow. Yeah. We know he's not mom.
There's an article out now saying that the wow alien signal may have come from the constellation Sagittarius. Like it says the researchers may have pinpointed.
But that could be because of all the weird crap coming from Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm. The source of the famous supposed alien broadcast, discovered back in 1977. Now, they're saying that it may have come from a sun-like star located 1,800 light years away in the constellation Sagittarius. And, since it's considered one of the best, radio signals that we've ever picked up, it's pretty impressive that they've still studying it and spent the time. And there are a lot of strange things going on in that area. Now, the person that did this particular study said that they found specifically one sunlight star, an object designated 2. Oh, wow, that's a really long number. I'm not even going to give that a long number. You know how they name those things. It's about 1,800 light years away, and it has a temperature, diameter, and luminosity almost identical to our own stellar companion. So that's pretty cool. The findings
looks
appeared
just like you, baby.
in the May 6th in the International Journal of
That's why I like it so much.
Astrobiology.
Because it reminds me of you. Stellar companions hate to hear that.
Now, it does say in here that the wow signal, it was incredibly strong, but very brief. It only lasted a mere 1 minute and 12 seconds. And, a lot of people have
Sounds
been
like my stellar companions.
well, we've only heard it once and we've not heard it again. And, they try to discredit it because it was just this one major signal. But this scientist points out that, we send signals to space all the time that are one shots.
Yeah. I mean,
we'd
boom,
there's a
that just
message.
proves that the aliens have Johnsons.
Well,
And he accidentally she's like, oh no, you didn't. You didn't. Did you? Well, it wouldn't be a gunshot.
No, of course not. So the astronomer Alberto Caballero, he's the one that was trying to figure out where this came from. And he went back through some old space data and he just focused on stars that are similar to our own for this particular study. Now, he doesn't think he realizes other life could be out there that's different than ours. But for this particular signal, he just focused on sun-like stars, and he did find one. So, I don't know. Very interesting.
Mom signal.
The mom signal. All right, let's move on, and let's do some instant karma news. Okay? All right, so this is about some thieves that were haunted by scary dreams after they stole some idols from a 300-year-old temple.
How stupid do you have to be?
Yes.
How many movies, videos, books, and I mean, come on.
Yep. Now, these were 300-year-old statues. There were 16 of them. They sold 16. And recently, they returned 14 of them, and they left a note with it saying they were having scary dreams.
Wait.
And
why did they not return 16?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming that 2 of those were already maybe sold or melted or whatever they planned on doing with the 16
idols. The other 2 told us not to bring them back, that they were perfectly okay. They said they were chill idols.
According to the police officials, the confession letter read, "We have been suffering from nightmares since we committed the theft and have not been able to sleep, eat, and live peacefully. We are fed up with the scary dreams and are returning your valuables." And all of the 14 idols have been identified by the priest and have been deposited back into the temple. And they've sent some people out to hopefully try and apprehend the thieves, even though they're still, according to this, they're still unidentified. Like they just left them with the letter and nobody saw them do it and nobody knows who it is. Yes.
The idols will tell them.
So very bad thing to do.
People, look,
he's stealing.
You can't even take a little piece of gravel
No.
Because it doesn't take much for something to attach. It doesn't.
No, and you can't just be stealing religious objects like that.
No.
I mean,
Kind of like graveyard dirt. Don't trust it. Seriously.
All right. Well, so let's do this other karma story. And this is about a man named Joseph McKinnon. Recently, his body was found near a freshly dug pit where, surprisingly, the body of his girlfriend was discovered. So what happened was the police were called, and because this man was, just laying out in a field, he was unresponsive, laying in the yard, and someone called the police. And so the sheriff showed up, and when they arrived, they found his body. And medical crews were called to the scene. They tried to revive him, and they couldn't. But during their investigation, they found a second body of a woman who had been strangled and put in a freshly dug pit. So, and she was identified as the woman that lived with him. So basically, he killed his girlfriend, and while he was trying to bury her and hide the crime, he had a heart attack and died. Instant karma right there.
So, her ghost, her vengeful ghost, that probably was not natural causes.
No, I would think
Just saying, if you had that much anger going on and that much wrath, because I'm here to tell you, folks, if I strangled Stacy, she's not the only one going out that day. I know this.
They claim he had a cardiac event while covering the pit.
Yeah, it's a cardiac event.
Yes.
Seeing her ghost would be a cardiac event.
Yes.
She probably just stood there beside him and was just like, what you digging?
What you got wrapped up in that trash bag there, buddy?
I just saw a Bugs Bunny cartoon, Elmer Fudd, like, I killed the WAP,
What you got there? All right. So we just have a few more stories here. This one's from New York. It's about a woman who has been receiving some mysterious mail. A woman named...
I swear to God.
It's not you.
No.
A woman named Carol Hover. She's from Hornell, New York. She received multiple pieces of mail that were written in 1960. And they were, in fact, from her mother. And she even recognized there were postcards from her mother written in her mother's handwriting. Now, her mother passed away back in 2014. And these... the postcard was postmarked from Canada in August of 1960. So
I knew Canada was behind the times, but
so that would have been a time that she was on, I guess, a honeymoon at the time in 1960, and she was sending a postcard, and so she recognized everything about it and knew that it was her mother's handwriting, but she couldn't figure out how she received it.
You're putting me on.
No, so.
From
She thought it was
1960.
from 1960. And she thought, well, this was just a really strange accident. However, that's not the only mail that she got. The next day, she took it over to the post office just to kind of have a laugh and kind of ask them, what's this all about? And they said, oh, well, you had a substitute delivery person. How about that? Yeah. And we're sorry. And then she said, do you know Jim and Peg, the people that sent it? And she's like, yeah, those were my parents. And she's like, really? Because we've got 2 more letters in the back from them. And so they gave her those 2 letters. And then more letters kept coming. Like her cousin also received a letter at her former family home in Minnesota where she lived back then. And it turns out that the people that lived in that house now tracked her down and forwarded the message to her. So nobody seems to know how this is happening, including the post office. Has no idea.
Has anybody went to the Canadian post office?
How they're getting it and why.
And ask them what it was all about.
I don't know if they actually went to Canada.
Because wouldn't you? At least call the place where it should have been postmarked.
Right. That's true. Now, it doesn't say
They'd be
here.
like, no, nothing strange here.
Well, here's the thing.
We're going to watch the honeymooners.
The one postcard that she got was from Canada. It doesn't say if all the other ones were also, because she was on her honeymoon, so it doesn't say if any of the other ones were also from Canada at the exact same time.
That's really...
But it's so strange. She said...
So, a few things I want to know. Mm-hmm. I would like to have some kind of dating done to it.
Right.
And if it shows the age of being that long ago. Okay. Or if we're talking real time slip stuff, and it's actually, looks like this, right?
Right.
Because it should have the aging
Right.
of being that old. That would be fantastic.
Right.
Like if they could tell that it was made in 1960, but
Well, I mean,
it's only a few weeks old.
she said, well, she noticed that it was her mother's handwriting. And of course, her mother died in 2014.
Right. No, I get that.
So,
I get that.
yeah.
That's not what I mean.
Right.
If it was from 1960 and it got sent, and for whatever reason, it just arrived.
Right. And it's all fresh and pristine.
Yeah.
In good condition.
Because you would think that it would be, even kept in the best conditions.
Right.
A letter from 1960 is going to be yellow. It's going to be tarnished. It's going to be, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. There are some pictures. I'll put some pictures up of a couple of the letters.
Did it look old?
I don't remember. I'll have to.
Oh.
Just a strange case. It's just weird that the post office doesn't even know, because you should be able to track that stuff, right?
Well, you should, but you also shouldn't get voicemails from dead people,
Very true.
Good
point. All right. Let's move on.
The world's a strange place.
Let's talk about a UFO sighting by Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo Rivera saw a UFO. All right. So this was... Geraldo Rivera talked about this whenever it was the Five's Daily Show and they were talking about the UFO Congress.
I seen this.
Did you? Yes. And so he decided to reveal that he once saw a UFO in the Bahamas. But then he also said he was stoned on ecstasy at the time. So very credible sighting. But he did say that he saw a
Who says that?
I don't know.
Like, even if you were stoned on ecstasy.
Right. Why would you include that in the story? He said that it looked like a great big North Star, brighter than the North Star, brighter than the horizon, but out on the horizon. And he was steering his boat, so he was trying to avoid it. And but no matter which way he turned, it was always there, like it was tracking.
Because it was the North Star.
Probably. But he said he tried to go the other way and everything, and it just always was... He couldn't get away from
stars.
it. Yes. Just, they all laughed at him too. And asked him why he was driving a boat when he was on ecstasy.
I think he's kind of used to being laughed at.
I think so.
Have you ever seen his bathroom selfies?
No.
Like his ones he sent? You haven't seen those?
No. Well, anyway, he had to get in on the I saw a UFO bit too there, so... All right, last story.
I hate those guys.
Yes.
He's probably the one who'd be like, well, I had the flu. I had the Capone flu.
I got the monkeypox right now.
Yeah. Its name's Bobo. Bobo the monkeypox. It's not an actual thing, Geraldo. Oh, mine is. Mine popped off and became a bean.
There you go.
Bean.
All right, last story about some scientists who were really surprised after they did a gene editing experiment on some hamsters. Now, they were trying.
Legal?
Yeah, I mean, this is legal.
Oh, wait, you did that, didn't
legal
you?
study. No, I didn't do gene editing.
Unintentionally.
So this team of scientists.
What was your hamster's name again? The one that you killed?
Brownie. I didn't kill him. I just made him terribly ill, but I was a child and I didn't know what I was doing.
How'd that happen again?
This isn't fair. I think I had to go in my room with some bug spray because there was a fly in there or something, or a couple of flies, and I didn't like bugs. And so my mom, in her ultimate wisdom, gave me as a young child the bottle of poisonous bug spray. And I went in my room and shut the door and proceeded to make a game of it. And I chased the flies around and just kept spraying and spraying and spraying until my mom came in a few minutes later, and it was so cloudy in there. She had to open the window and pull me out. I'm surprised I didn't lose my hair or something. But, a few days later, my hamster lost all his hair.
Somebody lost their hair, didn't
and
they?
his teeth. And he got very, very sick.
So did you have to watch your hamster lose his hair and his teeth?
Oh, no, it happened pretty quickly.
Or...
Yeah, he just woke up one day and looked like a really old hamster. And I'm pretty sure I refused to touch him after that. I was just little. I wasn't old enough to have a hamster. I don't know. Nobody told me I did it. I put that together years later.
So
It dawned on me that I was the one that killed my hamster.
did they just tell you he passed, or did they
No,
say he went away?
They told me that he was very sick, and for his best interest, we had to let him go in the woods behind our house.
Did you believe that?
Yes, because I was little. That's how little I was. And I was like, okay. I was like, is he going to be okay? Oh, yeah. He's an animal. He can fend for himself. So they didn't let him go. For a long time, I thought they just let him go. Like, I looked for him outside.
Little did Stacy know that Brownie actually did fend for himself. Brownie learned the sword, the hamster sword. Became a swashbuckling hamster, and yeah.
Wow.
So
Right.
anyway.
So this team of scientists, they did some gene editing, and their plan was to eliminate something called vasopressin, the vasopressin activity, and they claimed it would make the hamsters behave more peacefully because the vasopressin receptor is a hormone. It's associated with enhanced aggression. So the technology, the gene editing, knocked out the receptor for the vasopressin. That seems very logical. But instead, they were very surprised that the hamsters unexpectedly turned into hyper-aggressive bullies. Terrible, terrible things. They displayed high levels of aggression. They basically made monster hamsters by this gene editing. So they said they were really surprised at the results and realized that they don't know as much about gene editing as they thought they knew.
Hold on.
Right.
So what happened to the hamsters?
Are
the hamsters still around?
It doesn't say. It just said
They made little gangs?
here's what I think it became gangs.
Hell's hamsters?
It said that they anticipated that if
Welcome to our MC.
they eliminated vasopressin activity, they would reduce both aggression and social communication. But the opposite happened. And
I got a Harley wheel.
the hamsters without the receptor displayed high levels of aggression towards hamsters of the same sex compared to their counterparts that were not edited.
So like Ike Turner, they're like,
They had high levels of aggression towards the same sex.
oh.
And compared to, other hamsters that were not edited, that were still perfectly normal. In other words, you probably didn't need to do the gene editing because hamsters are pretty
They
tame
got, like,
animals.
Jack Daniels in their little water thing.
They're wearing like bandanas and stuff.
They're like they're cutting holes in the back of it and like
They're
funneling.
getting tattoos and stuff. They said the counterintuitive findings show that scientists don't understand this system as well as we thought we
Counterintuitive
did.
findings.
And developing gene-edited hamsters was not easy. And they're going to have a better understanding of the role of vasopressin in social behavior before they, try this again.
Oh, it's being done on the military now.
I know.
They're like, let's give me those dumb ones.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna block something.
Well, they did anticipate that it would dramatically alter their social behavior. So that happened. They figured it would go the other way.
Check on that one.
That's kind of a success. I don't know what they did with the hamsters. It didn't say.
I bet we as a mankind, we've created some monstrosities. There are some things in them there woods that, whenever you hear about these, pig boys,
Right.
and things like, it's been out there. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And how scary is that?
Yeah.
You know how aggressive pigs are?
Well, how scary is it? There's like a gang of hamsters now. Very, very aggressive hamsters. I can't even do it with a straight face.
I'm sure cats are terrified.
I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, on that alarming story,
They can just spray bug spray at them. Let's calm them right down.
we figured it all out. Then we'll have a bunch of naked hamsters
If they weren't pissed off enough.
with no teeth and a vendetta. For my lovely hamster killing wife, Stacy, my name's John. So long from the Sideshow.
Good night.